So through my producer journey, I picked up a few books that really interest me because I wanted to get into more recording and get into more actual studio production. So I have a few books which are actually for about the same person, and then there's one extra book in there, again, just for exploratory reading. But pretty much, if you want to know the ins and out of studio equipment, why certain things are the way they are, these books will definitely help. And there's one extra book I do have, but it's actually a PDF, but we'll talk about that later. So the first book I have is the Recording Engineers Handbook. This is by, I don't know if you can see it, Bobby. Why can't I say it right now? It's about Bobby Alsinski. I don't know. We're just gonna go with it. We're trying to do this in one take. But this actually is a great book. Basically, it handles, or it describes me miking, as far as like how to mic instruments, how to do mic vocals, how to set everything up in the room so that you can get the best possible sound possible through the mic. But this is a pretty great reference guide in case you get stuck with anything. It has pretty much everything you need in there. So the next book I have is the Mixing Engineers Handbook. And also, let me put this mic down right quick. The Mixing Engineer Workbook with the handbook, they go hand in hand. Pretty much, these are both reference books, but mostly the Mixing Workbook is to actually help you learn with the Mixing Engineers Handbook, which is the original reference book. But yeah, this will definitely give you the ins out of what you need as far as being a mixing engineer. It goes from the outboard gear used, why certain outboard gear used, why digital is used, and why it's mostly preferred nowadays. Pretty much everything. This is also by Bobby. But yeah, these two books are both by Bobby. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So they're both by Bobby. And pretty much like he is on it. He has a lot of years of experience that he's been producing and mixing. I think now he's doing more online learning. So he does have courses and stuff like that. You can go find his website when available. But yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like he's on it. He has experience, and that's the person you would want to go to. Like, and yeah. So yeah. But these three books so far, and this one especially if you're doing music production, not even just being an audio engineer, if you're using music production, again, he goes into the effects and why certain effects are used, and if you want to get a certain sound, what would be the proper sound, as in maybe you want to do something, how can I say it? Maybe you want to do something where you want to do something rhythmically, as in like a delay or maybe reverb, because we get rhythm reverb too. He goes into that, especially in the handbook. He goes into the history, all that, and it's great. But it's great. But definitely, if you want to be a mixing engineer, I'll suggest the Mixing Workbook, because you get hands-on with your DAW already. So everything you need to do, he has it for you in here. All right, so the next book, I don't want to get to that one yet. Not yet. That's the extracurricular. The next one will be the Mastering Engineers Handbook. This is usually the final process in music production. You want to master your track before you release it on a DSPs or radio, wherever you're trying to release it on. But this is definitely a good handbook, and as you've noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but this is actually the thinnest handbook out of all of them. Because pretty much, if you know mixing, not necessarily, you won't necessarily know mastering, but you'll know the basic principles in mastering versus or when we talk about loudness, of course that's another principle that's added into mastering. Some other stuff, some other type of EQ stuff, but mostly if you know mixing, if you know about EQ, compression, panning, and things of that nature, you know pretty much what mastering can consist of. And it has some other things in there. That's why the book is so thin. But yeah, this is actually a great book for mastering too. And it also, even though people do use AI mastering now, it doesn't hurt to understand what's going on in the process behind that. Especially, let's say if you have a track that you don't necessarily like the master of, you don't like how it came out in the AI process, you can go and actually do it yourself with the steps or with this handbook or with the references in this handbook. But yeah, that's that. And then the final book we have, and this is extracurricular, this is mixing in Adobe Atmos, and I actually got into this last year, no, beginning of this year. I got into this at the beginning of this year because I do want to know eventually how to go into, I guess, producing spatially, right? Because we're not just in I guess a left or right channel, right? We're in humans, we're in this physical world, and we hear different sounds in different directions. And Apple does have that. Not iTunes, but Apple Music does have that. They have something similar to, or is it Dolby Atmos? It's something similar to Dolby Atmos, to where it is like you hear spatial hearing. So when you mix in the track, you may not necessarily want to mix to the left and right channel. You may actually want to mix I guess counter corner, diagonally, right? You may want to mix everywhere else. Or if you want to get into, I guess, theatrical mixing and composition, this is where that will definitely be useful. So yeah, I'm still learning this, and it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. It's a good reference book. It's also a good workbook, and it takes you through exercises on where things should go in the mix. But yeah, so these are the books that I have. Again, referencing, we have Dolby Atmos, Mastering Engineers Handbook, the Music Mixing Workbook, and definitely get the workbook and the handbook, the Mixing Engineers Handbook, and of course the Recording Engineer, because you need to record a sound. So these are the books I suggest, and there's one extra book. All right, so the last book I suggest getting, and if you're not going to get any of the other books right now, I suggest, if you can, find this online or order for Amazon. It's a great book. It's called The Art of Mixing, and I will link the video at the bottom. This is top notch, because hello? Did this? Probably so. Testing 1, 2. All right. All right, so let me make sure. All right, so here's the last book. This is The Art of Mixing by, let me make sure. Actually, that's not the person. Right there. David Gibson. So this right here, I have his video at the bottom as a link, because this is what I use to first start learning what mixing is and how music works and how music recording works, because not only do we have to worry about how the music is composed, but again, this is the foundation to everything as far as becoming a mixing engineer and recording engineer and mastering engineer. I would consider this, if this was college, and if you think about it, all these books are pretty much, this is your associate's degree in recording and mixing. If you buy all these books and get this book also, this is your associate's degree. And I'll suggest you start off with this book, The Art of Mixing. If you're not gonna get any other book, get this one, because it helps you navigate through mixing and how instruments should be placed in a mix. Not only is it teaching you about that, it's also teaching you, again, getting you ready to go into effects and where should effects be placed, or how loud should effects be. So it gives you that complete picture spatially, because it's okay to read it on a book, and it's really okay to see it in the DAW, but then he visualizes it for you, as you see in the cover. He visualizes the space in which the instruments, or in which this whole production is set in. And if you think about it, that's real life. Because, for instance, when you're... Actually, I can give you a good representation right now. So, when I'm close to the mic, right, the volume is usually louder, and it seems like I'm closer to you. But the farther away I go from the mic, or my voice gets, and I'm far away from you, right? So that's what he's describing in his book. And I suggest, if you do not get any book, get this book first. And he has an updated version on Amazon. I just happen to have an older version because I did get it from somebody. But yeah, get all these books, and hopefully with these books you'll have a clear understanding of what it is, what it's like being an engineer, a recording engineer, audio engineer, all the above, and it'll definitely help you with your production. But other than that, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for all my subscribers who are subscribing. I think we're at 700. Let me see. Let me make sure. So we're in the 700s. I'll check later, but I think we're like 744, 746, something like that. But I thank you to everybody. Please subscribe to the channel. I have more content coming up. And I will say before I go, there is going to be a change in how the content is going to be presented to you. I am actually going to be more in the videos, giving a little more content, commentary to the videos. But yeah, hope y'all have a great day. Keep producing the best music you can. And I look forward to giving y'all the best content possible.